a really sad orangutan.
That's what I am. I'm a very sad orangutan because it's a bittersweet, happy, sad orangutan because hey everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We are back.
We're back.
We are back. We've been on a short hiatus since around election week.
Yeah.
Just before the election.
Yeah.
I mean, it got kind of hectic.
It was a stressful time.
It was a stressful time, and then that turned into the holidays during a pandemic, which is also a stressful time.
Very stressful.
Everyone had a lot going on. So we left you guys high and dry there. You probably wanted an escape from your reality.
Yeah, and we did not give it to you.
Yeah, and well, hopefully you found solace in another podcast, and we forgive you for that. Because just like a relationship, you got, when one lover's not doing it for you, you got to go find another one until that lover comes around.
That just sounded like you advocated cheating on your partner.
Only if you guys are broken up temporarily. Well, only if you're taking this is really weird. A relationship hiatus, which we are back now, though.
That's the point. We're back. Hello.
We're back. And hopefully those other podcasts you've been listening to, they did it for you. But now we're back to do it for real. And but the sad part is because we've got an announcement.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not that sad. It's mostly just that I'm going to be taking more of a step back from the podcast. I'm just focusing on a bunch of other projects and more into podcast production lately and working on some other things. So I'll be here every once in a while, but you'll mostly just have Sean and some fun guests.
And I will do my best to, from time to time, harness Caitlin and say to me, hey, how about we move this along?
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to make you run the whole thing.
I appreciate it.
So, listeners, let us know if the audio quality suffers because of that. It's not going to. Don't worry.
It might, but it probably won't. The only thing that will suffer is the Caitlin levels will be very low.
Yeah, but I'll be around
back.
every once in a while.
You'll come around. Yeah. When we have someone you love on this podcast, you can just take it. Pretend like you're me.
No, I mean, I'll join you every
Are you
once in a
joining?
while.
Yes, join me.
We've been working on a podcast together, a different podcast that we'll announce at some point. And I've been working on a couple other podcasts and projects. So that's all. And
this week's guest, I couldn't think of a better guy to bring in as our first guest of the new year in New York. Oh, look at that. In New York City, I'm getting choked up just thinking about...
Choked up or burpy.
Basically, yeah. He makes it... I get a rumbling inside thinking about this guy's comedy. He's one of the best... He's a joke-writing Jedi.
He really is.
A master of the craft.
I love his work.
The one and only Sam Morril, New York's own. And I mean, we go all fucking over the place with this one. We talk about basketball. We talk about heartache. We talk about fucking friends touching one another. We talk in good, appropriate ways and inappropriate ones as well. We talk about love. We talk about the popcorn trick, if you remember that. I know. We talk about a lot. We talk about Spike Lee. It's a fucking great episode. He's got 2 specials right now on YouTube that he released both last year.
Oh, wow.
One in February, one in, I believe, November.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, he made them both himself. Check him out. Just type Sam Morril into YouTube if you don't know who he is and watch both of his specials, both released last year, both self-produced. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and I'm excited that we are bookending our hiatus with Sam's. The last episode was Sam Talent. Now we have Sam Morril to bring in the new year. And also I'm excited to listen because I'm not on this episode.
There you go.
So I'm excited to hear you and Sam chat it up.
Sam and Sam. I didn't even realize. Wow, that's like a good omen.
Yeah.
So if I'm the orangutan, I'm like,
you're not a sad orangutan.
What do you have anything you want to plug?
No.
If you're, I mean, it's a lot of stuff in the oven right now. You don't want to tell people what's in there. You just
I'm working on like 6 albums right now. So no,
6.
Just follow me on socials and you'll hear about them.
Yeah, Caitlin's one of those people who can only, like, if she were a car, the moment it started, the gas would floor and you'd be at 60 miles an hour.
60 or nothing. So.
Yeah, but that's a good thing because what does a car need to do? Go places, like you are,
or sit and park. sometimes. Sometimes the
you.
car needs to just.
If you were a car, whoever was in you just would have to jump in and out at all times. But that would be the exciting part.
True. Yeah.
If you're listening to this, it's the 5th of January. On the 29th of January, you can see me and the one and only Cypher Sounds. I'm headlining. He's my opener and friend and DJ at Soul Joel's Comedy Club in Royersford, Pennsylvania. Check that out.
Yeah, that'll be so fun.
And all right, I love you all. Good to be back. Check out Sam. Hold up. Is it fucking? Yep. All right. Here we are, everyone. I know it's been a minute, but that minute has passed. And now on to the hour that is the future. Welcome back to 5 Fucking Words, the podcast. Here with my guest, if he weren't a comedian, I would imagine he would be the head coach of the New York Knicks.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Sam Morril.
Thank you. And that's not a long tenure here. They don't last.
You know, we've had this conversation. I know you're a massive basketball fan.
Mm-hmm.
You even have you have a podcast about basketball, don't you?
Pod Don't Lie with Stavros Halkias. Yes. And
you also used to host a show about basketball.
Yeah, it was one of those shows where like it was on the Knicks network, MSG. So it's this mixed feeling where like I was miserable hosting it because they wouldn't let me do it. They were like, "You're punk rock for us, you're comedy," and then anything I'd pitch, they'd be like, "No, you can't. You can't do that." So I would have all these ideas, and they'd be like, No way. So
they're like, "You're punk rock, but we're not ever going to play any of your songs."
I remember I did a bit about Charlottesville. Yeah, I did a bit about Charlottesville. Like right after that march happened, I thought I condemned it, but did hard bits, kind of like being like, "Here's the monologue," and it killed in the room. Like the crew was dying laughing, and the guy came over to me and he's like, "That was great," and I was like, "You're going to use it?" He goes, "No,
absolutely not."
He said, "No, we have fans upstate," and I was like, "Fans? What does that mean? Nazis? Like Aryan Brotherhood people?" He said, "We have other viewers." And I was like, "Nazis?" And he was like, "No, just other people."
Man, you're like, just say it with me. White supremacists. Sorry. That's also like, what do you upstate where? New York? Like, is that a thing in upstate New York?
I don't know. I think he was just like, "We're not doing it. And let me think of a quick excuse." He would try to fire Anthony, my co-host, every week. He's like, "What if we got rid of Anthony?" I'd be like, "No, you can't fire." To the point that I was like, at one point toward the end of the show, I was like, if he goes, I go. And then I found out 2 hours later, Anthony took a job writing on Michelle Wolf's show, The Break, on Netflix. I was like, I just put my ass on the line and you quit. I just gave them an ultimatum.
Was it Anthony DeVito?
Yeah.
I love that someone now, if someone would want to fire that guy. That's like wanting to pull a sunflower from a garden.
They just didn't they didn't get our vibe, which is such a bummer. I thought we had such a good chemistry, but they didn't. It's also tough to host a show on the Knicks network about the Knicks because they don't want. It's like doing a show about North Korea in North Korea. You're not saying whatever you want to say. You know what I mean?
Wait. What is it? Because how is it that the Knicks? I don't know. I do not know that much about basketball, but I know enough about sports. And how is it that the Knicks have never been this a dynasty, or at least you know what I mean?
Well,
or at least championship.
They've won twice. Last time was 72-73.
Oh, they did. Okay, so there you go. All right.
Yeah, they've won, but it's been a while. It's a million things after another. Hopefully, I always say this every 10 years. I'm like, I think we got it. I think we got it in the right direction.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because so last time they won, basketball shorts were real tight.
So tight.
Everything was real fucking tight.
Last time they won, I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went by Lou Alcindor. I think that's how long ago it was.
Wow, fucking pre-Nation of Islam.
Pre-Nation of Islam. And I also think it was black and white. I think maybe the second time we won was in color, but the first time was definitely black and white.
And that was the thing. The first time, the second time they won, they're like, "Those are the colors, blue and orange."
People watching oh, I guess I've been wearing purple and gold. I didn't know.
Yeah. Dude, that's all. So the last time they won, people were actually playing basketball in Chuck Taylors.
Yeah, probably.
When you
really shitty shoe. I hear older guys complain about it. They're like, yeah, they extended their careers by 10 years.
Just
You know?
what? But just getting actual decent footwear.
Yeah, like if you look even like in the 80s, what Larry Bird was like, these are the Converse. And you're like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be caught dead playing in that.
Well, you remember in the Jordan documentary, he played like one of his I think his last game in a pair of Jordan 1s and was like, what the fuck was I thinking?
And they also didn't fit. They were like too small. I had
Yeah.
a whole thing with Bert Kreischer about like, dude, the podcast, we did it right before Tom Segura got horribly injured.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like was like lecturing Bert about. I'm like, dude, you gotta wear good sneakers. And Bert's like holding up tennis shoes. He's like, are these good? I'm like, it's a different sport, dude. That's why they're called tennis shoes. So I was like nervous. And then I heard that. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Bert just like, I was playing in these, and just holds up a bottle of Tito's. You're like, that's vodka, Bill. Vodka, Bill. Bill Burt. I get, but I forget because Bert's got his podcast, then the one with Segura, and then the one with Burr.
Right.
He's got so many crossover podcasts.
He's a machine. He is the machine. I was going to call him a machine, but
no, he's the one and only. Yeah, man, that's because I look at because I live in Brooklyn, pretty close to Barclays Center, right? So I walk past it a lot, and I have yet to like something about the Brooklyn Nets. The name itself pisses me off. The same thing about the New Orleans Pelicans. Neither name sounds cool or flows off the fucking tongue at all. Like New York Knicks, it's just pop, pop, pop. It comes out. It's great. Brooklyn Nets. I don't know what it is. It's like the budding of the ends. The Brooklyn.
Well, it's because it's supposed to be New Jersey Nets.
New Jersey Nets was a great name.
So.
Yeah, New Jersey Nets was a great name.
Well, yeah, it pisses me off. It also pisses me off because I can't root for them, and they're awesome. I can't, in my blood, be like going. I can't ever. But they've got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and they've got Coach Steve Nash with assistant coach Amari Stoudemire and Mike D'Antoni. I'm like, I love all of them. It breaks my heart that I can't at all root for them.
Wait, Steve Nash is the coach of the
yes, dude. It's
Brooklyn Nets.
They're so cool.
When did that happen?
This year.
Fuck, dude. That was Steve Nash. Wait, see, this is a little bit up. Steve Nash, Ward number 13, Canadian, played for Phoenix.
Yeah.
See, I know some shit. White guy, point guard.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, this guy. I'm still that fucking guy from the South. Whenever you see a decent white athlete, you're like, wow. You, buddy.
Well, I think the NBA did it too. They gave him a second MVP that he should not have gotten. It was like, oh, he's little and white. Let's give him another one. Meanwhile, Kobe was averaging like 35 a game. It absolutely should have gone to Kobe.
Yeah, true. But yeah, man, fuck. That's also.
I can't root for Brooklyn, man. They bug me, and it bugs me how many. Like, look, you can argue both sides. Like, look, are the Knicks fans mentally ill and delusional? Of course we are. But the Brooklyn fans, a lot of them are fucking just like bandwagon fucks who are dude. Oh, yeah. I'm going with Brooklyn. I'm like, oh, they were good out of the gate. You know,
like when they made that Bed-Stuy jersey that they wear every now and I'm like, good. I mean, but it's a cool jersey, but it's like that's a fucking cash grab. That is a fucking gentrified cash grab.
And also you're linking up with like Biggie. It's like the Biggie colors and stuff and like the sweater. I'm like, oh dude, like their marketing is on point. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. You have just got you have just sold a jersey to every 35-year-old white yuppie couple that bought a brownstone off fucking Malcolm X Boulevard. You know,
and they're like, oh yeah, I like Ready to Die and Life After Death. Those are swell albums, you know.
those are bangers, man. I remember listening to those at prom. You know? Really. I remember the after prom party out on my friend's dad's boat. We were jamming some Biggie, dude.
Dude, it kills me because the Knicks are just like they're a tortured franchise right now. I do think they're young right now, and I think they just hired new people. I love their new coach. I'm hopeful.
I love that Spike Lee is like a diehard, like willing to be the face of the goddamn team.
Dude, he's given them so much free press. Like, you gotta love Spike. Like, I mean, how often he uses them in movies, and like he won an Oscar, and his first thing was like, "Are the Knicks winning?" And you're like, that is like a sickness in your head that you can't enjoy winning Best Director. You have to be like, "What's the score?" Or like something like, "Who did we draft?" There was something insane.
Well, I like that he's like over the year, all the pain, like he's turned that maybe that's where he's gotten this inspiration for his films. Like just after like some of the most heartbreaking shit, he's like, God damn it. The Bulls just wiped us out. much like Hurricane Katrina wiped out the city of New Orleans. I'm going to go make a documentary. About
it. It was like Malcolm X. That wasn't painful enough. He had to watch Ewing miss a finger roll in the playoffs. That was the next level of pain.
Dude, I will say, like, I have a weird relationship with Spike Lee movies because I never really watched a ton coming up. But being from New Orleans, his documentary, When the Levees Broke, it's a 2-part documentary. It came out roughly a year after Katrina. And I remember watching it. I was living in LA at the time, and it was like overwhelmingly fucking heartbreakingly perfectly spot on. Like it's weird because you don't want to be like, man, that documentary was brilliant. It was amazing because it was about harsh shit, and I was there for all of it. But he really went down there and captured like real shit.
It is weird when you have like the darkest movie. You're like, dude, you see the Ted Bundy doc? That was fucking good. You know? You're like, ugh. Yeah, no, you're right. He is great at capturing the sadness. I remember seeing The 25th Hour, that movie with Ed Norton and Brian Cox and Philip Seymour Hoffman and everyone.
Shit, I forgot about that.
I remember thinking like, oh, that movie captured like the post 9/11 vibe in New York, unlike any movie I've seen. I thought it was like pretty. I will say this: I don't love all his movies, but the ones I love, I really love.
Yeah, I feel like that's how you gotta like. I feel like that's sort of the goal as any sort of creator. Like,
and he does different shit. Yeah. Like look at that movie, then look at like Inside Man, then look at like Do the Right Thing. You're like, those are the most different movies. Like he's got range for sure.
Then you look at what Girl 8, you know?
Right?
You know,
or he's got like my only issue
Summer of Sam. Remember that one?
True.
That was a strange movie.
I saw that so long ago. That was like, that was John Leguizamo, right?
Yeah, fucking Adrian Brody doing a British accent, but like not everyone knows he's not British. I was like, oh, mate, it's just attitude. I remember that, like him telling people like, this is just what we do now. And I'm like, did people do this in the 70s? Like, you know, from Brooklyn, just like, I'll speak in a British accent. It's how me roll, mate. And I thought that was very bizarre.
I don't remember that. Yeah, he's Adrian Brody's like he had that weird, you know what's weird about him is he had that moment with like Halle Berry at the Oscars where he just like grabbed her and kissed her. And like, can you imagine like the write-ups that would get now? A white man thought it was okay to grab a black woman and kiss her. You'd be like, oh my God. Like, but when he did, everyone's like, that was adorable. He just grabbed the hottest actress in Hollywood and kissed her.
Yeah, laid one on her. I just hope the fucking if the overcorrection pendulum swings so far the other way.
I'm dying for it. I'm waiting for them to like cancel like second grade kids, you know, where they're just they're like, what did you say? Okay, well your timeout's over when you show some humility and listen, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God! Wait, hold on a second. Mitch Mitchell. Oh, I'm sorry, Michel, because that's going to be fun. With the teachers having to like learn these like,
oh my God,
these like these borough names, these fucking Portland names. Michel.
Oh my God, it's gonna be exhausting.
Yeah. Were you trying to make a point, Michel? But like I just like the idea of it's like, hey, you get to the point where like now they're like accusing like if a third grader, you know what I'm saying, like touches another third grader below the waist, they're like, your son was aggressive. And it was like, that was seven. How about that? That was a 7-year-old thing. Like,
I think they've got
to learn the line before they know not to cross it.
You're progressing. That's what being a child is you're progressing. You're an adult at 18. Until you're 18, you are progressing as an adult.
Well, dude, I remember. Okay, so over Thanksgiving,
you need to let someone progress. You need to learn from mistakes.
100%, dude. But over Thanksgiving, there was 4 of us or 5 of us doing a thing at my boy's place in Brooklyn, and he's got a two-year-old, and the two-year-old was being a terrible fucking 2-year-old kid, but to my girlfriend, he fucking put his hand down her pants while she was sitting. She was sitting, and her butt crack was showing, and just hand down the pants for a second. Not my girl. And hand down the pants for a second, and it was like and the kids, and it was whatever, haha, kid, get away from there. But I was telling someone this story in Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and I was doing shows down there, and they got like a little like, wow, like what did he do? And I was like, what do you mean, what did he do? It's a 2-year-old. The kid wasn't thinking like, oh, ass, let me get a handful of that. He's a fucking 2-year-old.
Yeah, if your girlfriend stuck her hand down his pants, there would be a problem.
There would be an
But
issue.
I would. You know what's
Yeah.
interesting? I was listening to this interview with forgot the director's name. He made the Exorcist. I forgot the guy's name, but
Was it Francis Ford Coppola? No.
No. But he was interviewing the girl to play the girl in The Exorcist, like the 16-year-old girl, whatever she was.
Yeah.
And he's asking her about, you know, what this means to her, and he said, like, he's telling it like, and it's getting laughs. The story's an old story, and he said, well, do you know what you do here? And she goes, yeah, I masturbate with a cross. And he was like, or maybe she was even younger than 16. And he goes, oh, do you know what masturbation is? She goes, yeah. And he goes, yeah, do you do that? And she goes, yeah. And he's like, and she got the part. And I was like, that's a weird fucking story.
Yeah, that's like,
that's one where I was like, oh, okay. That's like, I get that there was a time when telling that got a big laugh. Like, you're like, oh, she had the goods. But now you hear that and you're like, she played with herself and I hired her. That's how I did it.
Yeah. That was casting back then. You're like, it wasn't actually originally in the script. We just wanted to, you know.
She improvised the scene.
And we were like, it's in there.
We were like, mwah. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's fucking, and then go, hey, mwah, do that.
Some of those old Hollywood stories, you're like, oh, this used to be, and you could tell he wasn't a creepy guy. That was the funny that you're like, it was like, but you just hear it and you're like, oh, okay, that's weird.
Well, yeah, man.
And her mom was present. It wasn't like a creepy story, but the way you hear it, you're like, oh, wow, it's weird.
I do find it funny though, like when people like, there's that level of like, you're sort of aware of this overcorrection, and you're like, all right, hold on. If you're going after fucking 2-year-olds and kids for shit that they've like, but then there's the guy who can't filter between the two, who's like, yeah, I mean, what's wrong with fucking grabbing chicks' asses? You know, you're like, well, hey, man, we can establish that that's the crossing the line.
Oh, we all know those dudes.
Yeah, we all know those dudes.
The dude when you're at the bar, when you're like fucking a child, you're a kid at the bar, and he's like, let's be honest, ladies, you came here to get fucked. And we're like, dude, you might want to keep that down. Yeah, that's not. You might want to chill.
I mean, yeah, dude, think about the way you went to NYU, right?
I did, yeah.
Were there NYU bars?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's New York. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I think there were more like Columbia, I think, had bars. I think like there was like, that's a Columbia bar, but I think that's the only college in New York that in the city where like, only because that's more of a out of the way. I mean, NYU is like the West Village, or like, you know, it's down there. So it's kind of like, it's too mixed in with other shit going on. Whereas like Columbia had a campus. It was more of a thing, I think.
Right.
Whereas NYU, there's like, nah, just do your shit. Go away.
Columbia does, for those who don't know, Columbia does actually feel like almost like it's a little college town, because it's like on the lip of Harlem, like 115th.
It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it's up there, but it does feel like it's separated enough from where all the fucking crazy action is, where it could be its own existence, its own like bubble, its own college. Because like NYU, I couldn't even tell you where the main campus of NYU is. I think it's right there by Washington Square Park.
I went there and I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I mean, it's like I'd go in buildings. I'd be like, is this part? Okay, sure. I remember I had an advisor there, and she was so, everything she would say, she'd be like, you need to watch this movie. And I'd be like, okay. And she'd be like, you haven't seen that? And I'd be like, oh, no. She'd be like, oh. Everything I'd say, oh. Oh. I'd be like, all right, I watch it the next day. And she'd be like, you watch it? And she's like, oh, here's that. I'm like, you can't even give me anything for watching it. She'd give me like a new assignment. And they were all good movies, but I hate the person when they're like, how about this? Have you seen this? And they're like, yeah. Watch this. And I'm like, I've seen that. Watch this. You haven't seen that? I'm like, I just gave you like 4 straight I saw. There's going to be movies I haven't seen. I'm a child, you know? Yeah.
This is why I'm in this class, to learn about wait, was it film? Like, were you a major in
film? No, this
film?
was an advisor. No, I had like a made up dumb major. No, we did all kinds of like old, like ancient Greek shit that was like necessary to graduate. It was like, you know.
Yeah.
We did. I wish I did film classes there. Those seem like those would have come in so handy, and those would have actually like benefited me, knowing how to use Final Cut instead of paying people to do all that shit for me.
Yeah, dude, that's. I mean, I look back, because I think I'm at the age when computers like, I was like a teenager when computers kind of like started to take over. Whereas like I can remember it being like, okay, I'm 20 years old now. By the time I was 21, it was like, wait, compute what? I mean, I didn't have a full-time cell phone until I was 23 years old.
Wow.
That's when, like, I remember in high school and like the early 20s, no one really having a cell phone wasn't mandatory.
Isn't that crazy to
Yeah.
grow up without a phone? I mean, it's crazy to see a child now just know how to use an iPad like instantly.
Instantly, dude.
Instantly, like
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, it's like learning French as a child. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's just in you. Now I just know it forever. This is the template for the rest of probably for the next. I mean, maybe new shit will come out, but for as far as touchscreens go, it's like I've got this mastered already. I never had to think about it.
I mean, I hope new shit doesn't come out. I hope that's the line. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems already too convenient and too easy, and it's taken over too much.
It's too much already, dude. I mean, the amount it tracks our thoughts it's
spooky.
It's gonna get worse. I mean, that like Cambridge Analytica Facebook shit is like, that's pretty scary. And then it's like the fact that we hear that and we're like, I'm still gonna do it. That's scary.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like that off Facebook activity tracker, how like when you see the things on your phone and it's like you're looking at sneakers and then you see the sneakers
on
like Instagram or something and you're like, oh, that's insane.
Yeah,
because they're tracking your activity.
I mean, I've even had it where I was like on the phone and I was talking about Red Wings boots. And the next thing I knew, my Instagram feed was just full of Red Wing advertisements. I was like, wow, they are listening.
Yeah.
Because I definitely, and I mean, you remember the movie Minority Report? Do you remember that movie?
Great movie, yeah.
But that they'd be jogging and you look at an advertisement and it would suddenly be like to the guy, like to the character, like, John, have you had your McDonald's today? Like that's a year or two from now.
Yeah, Kevin Hart's going to be doing credit card commercials, but Sean,
exactly.
Sam, take after take. He's just going to keep doing it, and he's that hard a worker. He's going to fucking pull it off.
Exactly.
He's going to do it.
Yeah. Like people we know are going to start being like, oh man, I'm doing Nike ads now. I mean, some people are going to like actively want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, wait, how would you even? That doesn't even seem that hard. It seems like there's maybe 100 or so basic names.
Yeah.
In like the English language, or and you just do 100 different takes.
It's probably not that bad. You just throw it in. I mean, it's also like, I'm sure they could find ways to like at some point like manipulate it, right? With the person's voice. Like, did you see that clip a while back of Obama, and it was him just like saying stuff that he wasn't saying, but it was like it looked like he was saying it.
What? No,
I think Jordan Peele made it, but it was this could be like completely doctored. And it's like, yeah, we're not far away from shit where I'm like, how far away are we from shit that could be completely fake? Like fake news is going to get to such heights that it's going to be like unstoppable.
I mean, it's already like, at least now there's a point where you can step back and be like, I see what's bullshit and what isn't and what has an agenda and what doesn't, which is pretty much nothing doesn't have an agenda anymore. There does not exist an actual news source that is like, we just tell you what's going on. That's it. That does not fucking exist. You know?
True.
I don't know if it, and I don't know how long it hasn't existed for. That's
because the big ones are owned by the bigger companies with an agenda, and the little ones are like, well, we have an agenda. This is our thing. We'll fight for fucking power. So everyone's got an agenda. It's tough. Right. I remember I used to watch Al Jazeera TV a lot, and I thought that was like pretty good at being, somewhat,
right,
just news,
right?
But and BBC will be all right. Certain ones will be good. Ones that aren't here in America are good. But
wait, do you listen to BBC News?
Sometimes, yeah.
That's I wonder what that editing room is like, just because of how on point it's like. Today, BBC News today in Afghanistan, and then like right away on top of it, it's just like BBC News 4. You're listening to BBC 3 today, and like that's so like. Everything is right on top of itself, where it's like they're either editing so fast in real time,
right,
or there's like a 30-minute delay where they're just drink more tea, Brits, and they're just pounding tea. Also really quick, I've learned from a British person recently that British people don't actually like tea that much.
Really?
I mean, if you go to England, there's tea everywhere.
Well, tell those sitcoms. I feel like every character is drinking tea. I mean, it's a stereotype that they're pushing too. Like, I'm watching like whatever. I'm watching Broadchurch, and I'm like, they're like coffee. They're like, no, tea. I'm like, all right. Fucking every British detective is drinking tea. Is such a non-detective drink too.
Well, tea is also like.
Didn't someone have a bit about that? Did Vecchione have a bit about that?
About what?
I think Vecchione used to have a bit about how like if you're the guy's like looking for your daughter and he's like, I'll have some tea or something like that.
You're like, whoa,
it doesn't sound sound like he's really looking for your daughter. It was I think it was Vecchione. Yeah. Someone had a bit like that.
Or like he's planning on finding your daughter, but not for 2 or 3 days. That's how I feel with tea. Like with coffee, it's like I'm here. And tea is I'll drink like 3 cups of tea and be like, I'm not even that caffeinated. And then an hour later, I'm fucking clinging to the ceiling.
It's like an edible. I don't like it. It's like coffee is like cigarettes, where it's anxiety juice, where you're just like, fuck, all right, I'm up. But like tea, I'm like, I guess like tea, I'm okay with like end of the night, I'll have a tea or something. If it's like right before, but if I have to like wind down, it's so hard for me to sleep. I'll try anything. But
yeah, man.
Yeah. So tea at the end of the night occasionally, but I'm a coffee guy. I'm like multiple cups a day.
Do you snore?
I don't know. I don't think so. No one's ever accused me.
No one. You've never had anyone be like, "You got to fucking stop this," or I'm never.
I don't think I do. I've shared hotel rooms with comics who snore, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, I mean, like I got the CPAP. I have the apnea.
Are you serious? Oh yeah, didn't you have a bit about this?
I do. Yeah. But like,
yes.
I definitely. Yeah, I've been, but I only discovered that because of enough people being like, "Hey, man, it sucks being anywhere near you when you fall asleep."
So is that a bulky thing to take on the road, or do you only do it when you're with?
Oh no,
your girlfriend.
I take it on the road. I mean, it folds up nice into a nice little case. It just looks like an extra little carry-on thing. It can be a pain in the ass, but but that's the thing. I also didn't realize I was not sleeping until I started using that thing.
So did you have sleep apnea?
Yeah, I was snoring myself awake every 88 minutes. That's
dangerous, right?
It's very dangerous. I mean, it's been years. It's been like 6 years since I've had a CPAP, so I'm good now. But like, yeah, dude, it'll fucking. I mean, dude, it changed my life once I started sleeping. Like the idea of like closing your eyes and then waking up many hours later rested was like alien to me.
Wow.
I had no idea that people actually truly did that shit. I thought everyone was just lying. I also have trouble falling asleep too, though. Like Norman has a bit about it, but like I can't going to sleep is impossible. I have to fall asleep.
I'm really glad I said I don't snore now, because I would have felt like a real dipshit after your whole explanation here. After you're dealing with it. I had a guy ask me if I had mental illness in my family, and I thought about it, and I said I don't think so. And then I asked him, and he goes, yeah, my dad killed himself when I was a child. And I was like, thank God I said yes. It's like one of those things where you're like I would have felt like such an asshole. Like, yeah, my mom's a nag.
Dude, no, believe you me, dude. Some people, because I've done the same thing, like shared hotel rooms, and
it's unbearable. With
some people were unchecked. Well, here's the thing: you and I shared a condo once,
right?
But there was walls between us.
I was middling for your side splitters. You were fun as hell to be with. That was like the 1 week you weren't drinking, but you're still real fun.
That was a fucking fun time. It was also one of the dumpiest condos ever that they did finally get Wi-Fi in. Last time
I think I was young enough at that time to not realize how bad that was. I think I was like that was just the norm, I think, where I was like, yeah, this is all right.
I mean, dude, no, I was new. At that point, I'd only been doing the road for like a year. I'd only been
really?
So like I was also, for me, it was like, wait, is this the bottom of the barrel? I can't tell. But right. I know we should at least have Wi-Fi.
Right.
Because remember, we didn't. Remember, we had to like call a.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, we went to a Starbucks
every day.
Right. Yeah.
And I also felt like this was like pre-Uber. Like this was like a year before Uber.
Oh, so, I remember something about that week. Do you remember what happened in the car with the cab?
Wait, which?
How like we were talking about, man, it's so annoying when whenever how we both don't tell people we're comics when we're in the cab, because like if I say I'm a comic, they're like, tell me a joke, and you're like, fuck, all right. It's just like a thing. You went into the bank, we were in a cab or something, and I was just sitting there, and this woman was like, what do you do for work? And I was like, oh, I'm in business. I work in business. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's like, no follow-up question. I'm like, beautiful, no follow-up. Then you come back in, you're like, I'm just nervous for the shows tonight. I'm like, what? And she's like perked up. She's like, what kind of shows? You're like, oh, we're comedians. I'm like, fuck me.
Oh, no, I blew the cover.
He blew the cover, but then immediately she told us like some horrible jokes. Like, I got a joke for you, and we're like, it's like racist joke.
Oh yeah, dude.
But then it's like those are almost funny to hear, but you're like, all right.
Dude, it all changed for me. It all fucking changed for me one morning at O'Hare Airport. The first time I ever did Zanies, where I was like, it was at my flight. It was one of those where you.
I miss that club. I miss those.
That club's fantastic. And this was years back. This was maybe 2012. But like those flight. You know when you get to the airport on time and then your flight keeps getting delayed, so you end up spending 7 hours at the airport.
The worst.
Right? And O'Hare is one of those like airports too, if you know it. Like where there'll be an hour where it's like, this is chill, and then another hour where it's the most crowded place ever because flights are coming and going. So I just spent most of my time in this like Outback, just like fucking chilling. But I ended up talking to a dude who I ended up telling was a comedian. And at first he was like pretty funny and pretty chill. And then he started telling me all these like stories I could use. And at first, the first one he told me was kind of interesting. And I don't even remember what it was. It was that interesting. But then he started going off on these like everything he had ever in his life thought was funny. He was just like, no, check this out, dude. But think about this. Riding lawnmowers, right? Riding lawnmowers, right? And I would be like,
finish it. I gave you an idea. Finish the joke.
Yeah, exactly. He was just now throwing premises where he'd just be like, no, seriously, you ever been bungee jumping? Yeah. What's that all about? And I'm just like, all right, man. Yeah, thank you.
I had a guy once come up to me after a show. He's like, got to be 60. And he was like, I got a bit for you. So I'm in the car and I'm getting roadhead. And
yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And he goes, use it. And I'm like, I'm going to tell a story about a stranger getting blown. That's the bit?
Yeah.
It's not a bit.
Yeah. Or like, I remember like the dude, I had one guy really talk to me about the popcorn trick. I used to do a bit about this. I should do it again. But you ever heard of the fabled popcorn trick, Sam?
I don't know it.
It's no one's ever done this before, by the way, but it's when a guy on a date with a girl at a movie theater somehow gets his dick into the popcorn.
Yeah.
So that she'll grab the dick accidentally and be like, well, now I got to jerk this puppy off. But I had a guy really
I haven't been to a movie theater in so long that I was like, maybe it's a preparation technique you're talking about.
Right. You ever do Wilmington, North Carolina? You ever do that club?
Many times. I did it when it was Nut Street.
Nut Street. Yeah, that's the first time I did it. Love that place.
But
it was there that this guy was really trying to sell me on like, no, you got to talk about, he kept going, you got to bring back the popcorn trick. I'm like, I've never done that. No one's ever done it. There's nothing to bring back.
It's not Chappelle might have done a sketch about it. And that was like the last time I saw it.
Shit, really?
He might have. I might be making this up, but the popcorn trick was one that I was like, yeah, that's like, you got to really have a good spin on that one. Because I feel like that's one where everyone's like, okay, grandpa, that's how you got jerked off in the 40s, you know?
Which, by the way, why did you have to go to those extremes?
How about you just ask for it? Why do you have to fucking sneak one during Rear Window? You know what I mean?
Right. Because, that's the other thing. What if it's a great movie and she doesn't want any popcorn?
Also, maybe she's just like, oh, cool, we're out of popcorn. I don't want to touch your dick right now.
Yeah. Oh, dude, fuck.
I feel like if she's that down, you could probably just skip the popcorn.
And the movie. And
the movie.
Yeah, just fucking meet up and finger blast each other.
I also kind of like, I'm not big on the fucking during a movie.
I'm also like.
I mean, maybe you're at home, you could pause the movie, but I don't want to be at a theater and miss the movie.
Yeah. Well, same goes for food with sex. I've never been that guy, which people I think are surprised
by. That's like a movie thing. That's bullshit. People do.
Okay, good. Well, I'm hoping you're right. I believe you are right. I just think it's fucking weird. Like, eat this cream off my pussy. I'm like, why?
9.5 weeks. Kim Basinger in the 80s isn't enough. You need a fucking cantaloupe next to her. It's fucking ridiculous, you know?
Or like even that like high-end sushi thing with like eating sushi off the naked
Oh,
woman.
it's
It's like,
grotesque.
just give me a fucking giant plate. I don't.
That's
need
like the most COVID anti-protocol, whatever. Now, because like now it's
Yeah.
like they're saying like raw fish, which I'm not. I'm still eating sushi, but they're saying like raw fish. Then they're saying
Wait, what are they saying about raw fish? I missed that one.
I've talked to some, not like the CDC, but I've talked to friends of mine who are like, I'm not touching raw fish. Like they were talking to David Angelo the other day. It's like, I'm not doing raw fish. I'm not doing anything that's like made like Chipotle style where you kind of do it all. They're like, I'm not doing that.
It's funny because David Angelo is such a his like online, his Twitter personality is like, you would read it and be like, this guy lives in Tampa Bay, Florida.
Right. But he is neurotic.
But he's a fucking neurotic. Like, because I saw him at a show and like went to give him the elbow bump and he was a little like, and I was like, oh, okay, I forget that you're a pretty sane minded dude, but really careful.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's like, the body sushi is insane. That's like what they would like pitch on Entourage. They'd be like, we're going to the body sushi. And everyone would be like, yeah, that'd be like an episode. I feel
Was
like.
it? I read that show was basically just like, hey, these are problems that anyone who's not a celebrity would love to have, right? And guess what? Now they get cleared up at the end of the episode.
I love the first couple seasons of it, and then I was kind of like, all right, now there's no stakes anymore. It's like they're all rich. They're all like,
yeah.
When is like fourth member of his crew is like, I'm either going to be worth $4 million or $6 million. You're like, all right. I mean,
dude, I remember very little about that show. The arcs I remember are one where he was going to get that indie movie, but the producer hated him. And then he was like,
who was basically Harvey Weinstein.
Right. And he was like, I think
his name Harvey Weinstein in the show.
No, I mean, or like an antonym or whatever, like a Mavie Steamstein. That's a terrible version. Mavie Steamstein. That's what I fucking came up with. Sorry. But you remember that episode where he's like, I want 20 million to play Aquaman, or he's like, what are you, high? And he's like, I am actually. And he's like, wait, where did you get any weed? My dealer says we're out. And the guy gets the part like that. That was an episode. Also, California clearly pre-medicinal because it's like, where did you get it?
Right.
Anywhere, bro.
My favorite part of Entourage, and they did have some great female characters, but any minor female character was like, they would be like, hey, let's go talk over there. And they just like leave the scene immediately and all the dudes would talk and I'd be like, that's how they write.
Yeah.
And you're like, I got a part on Entourage. What's the role? I suggest we go to the bathroom. That's my one line. And that's it.
Yeah. You're going to look really good. They're going to use good. They're going to use a wide lens to really capture you. And then you're off.
But then all the like women were like, they had the publicist who was kind of a hard ass, Debbie Mazar, who was great. Then they have his wife who was great, Perry Reeves. I mean, they had some great female characters on it too.
I mean, I do love that they somehow convinced Kevin Dillon to just kind of play himself.
Dude, I think he's the best part of the show. I thought he's so funny, dude.
Yeah, I mean but then it's also like when you're in a show like that. I feel like there are certain shows that will like that must be I think Game of Thrones is the same way. Like most of the actors from that show are never going to actually really work again. Not that they
that guy Jason Momoa is huge, isn't he?
Yeah, but he got axed before he was like killed off in like season 2.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Game of Thrones, yeah, I feel like
seen it.
Bro, only watch till season 4 and then stop.
It was a tough sell too, because by the end, everyone's like, "You didn't watch it," and then I'd be like, "No," and they're like, "How was it?" And they'd be like, "Horrible," and I'd be like, "Then why are you fucking peer pressuring me?"
I swear to God, watch the first 4 seasons; they're fantastic, and then just don't watch anything else. Don't watch 5, 6, 7, 8. Just don't. It's such a heartbreaking letdown. But at the end of season 4, you can just imagine what happens. Use your imagination. Be like, I'll just figure it out, or start reading the books. But the last 4 seasons are absolute god-awful dog shit. But the first 4 are brilliant.
Interesting.
Okay. Brilliant. Wait, speaking of brilliant, speaking of stories, Sam.
Yeah.
Can you give me those 5 words?
All right. We got lotion.
Hell yeah.
Children.
Oh, yep.
Died.
Like as in tie-dyed or living and died?
Living and died.
Oh, shit. All right.
Quadrant.
Yeah, we all got one of those.
Friends.
So this is all right, man. This is fucking intense. So your 5 words are lotion, children,
Yeah.
died, quadrant, and friends.
Uh-huh.
Fuck, man. So this is a story. I think
I was just riffing about this on stage the other night, so I'm
Yeah.
like, this could maybe be a story. So I want to.
No, this is a story. This is a story. I'm knowing you. I mean, a fellow guy, a fellow traveler of the road, a fellow road comedian. A lot of people don't understand about being someone who travels, 26 or more weeks out of the year. Some people more. Like you like your little comforts, and I'm thinking this is a story about a time where you kind of ran out of your favorite lotion. Personal lotion. I'm gonna call it personal lotion because you can put 2 and 2 together and figure out what that means, right? And that kind of thing's important because if you're on the road and you just take whatever you can get, sometimes you're in fucking Dearborn, Michigan. You know what I mean? They don't got good stuff there. You got to kind of have your own supply. So you're running low on your lotion. You realize it's your last round of making children. That's what I like to call it. In fact, if I'm being frank, every time I masturbated on the road, I would name that load. I'd be like, well,
Yeah.
Name it. Like, there you go, Chester. In the next life, I hope you're a doctor, So after, so you're doing
I call my kid Nut Street.
Nut Street. There you go. It's a good fucking name.
Yeah.
So you're using your last round of personal lotion to make children, to masturbate. And this is when you learn that your great aunt Fran, your great aunt Fran had died.
Yeah.
Right? Because every now and again you're on your computer doing your thing, and then you get a mail notification like, hey, you got a mail, and you see it's from your fucking mom. She's like, hey, Aunt Fran died, and you're like, fuck, really? And you got to stop what you're doing. You check the email. It's like, hey, she left you something in her will, and you're like, what's that? It's like she left you a quadrant of land. You're like, a fucking quadrant of land? How much is a fucking quadrant of land? Is that an acre? Is that a half acre? What is it? 2 acres? And you're like, I don't know. You have to, when you get back in town, we got to go fucking see. And it turns out your aunt left you an apartment the size of the one in Friends, the movie, the TV show, the one that Joey and the guys lived in. And that's where you currently live. So that's what I think happened. Is you were masturbating.
I actually wish that was a story. That's a better story.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So wait, just to wrap it up, you're masturbating on the road. You learn your great aunt Fran died. She left you a quadrant of land in New York City, which was an apartment in Manhattan where you currently live. Not the case?
No.
Damn it. One of these I'm going to get right.
Here's the story.
What's the real story?
Talking about how as kids, when we first hit puberty, we would masturbate together. A lot of us boys would masturbate together.
Dude, kids, the last time I did that, I was like 22 with like 2 of my buddies, and we just were at his place, and we're all fucking hammered, and we had a porn. No, you know how you can buy porn. You remember the porno ladies in New York who would have cigarettes and like DVDs of porn you could buy at bars and like.
Right.
There was a woman who came in a cabin every single Thursday on Thursday nights with $10 cigarettes, and she'd give you a free porn DVD. Those people also existed years ago in Louisiana, and we bought a porn at a bar, and we were watching it at my friend's place, and we just turned his 2 couches like from here to here and just laid in between them with the sound all the way up.
Love it.
Dude, created barriers. So yes, men masturbate. I feel like women do this too. Anyway, continue.
I don't know if they do, but we were just that horny, and we would just go to one of our friends' house, go in the room, and just separate whatever quadrant you take your own corner, and we would just masturbate and watch whatever porn, and it was always like we would pass the lotion around like it was a bottle of whiskey in the war. We would just make sure everyone got it.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we would pass it around. We would use pillows as kind of like the way a urinal guard you use. You're like, all right, this is okay, right? So we would masturbate to porn. We would there's always one kid who finished first, which sucked, He was like the one because you're just stuck in that room. You can't go in the other room and be like, why are you not? You had to you come, and then you'd be like, I gotta hang until they're done.
Yeah. So, I gotta encourage, like, you guys you can do it. Stroke faster, man. Stroke faster. You got it.
You're like, your voice is not helping. So you got to keep it down. So we would do that. And years later, one of them actually died.
Oh shit!
One of the guys from the original five,
the original Jerk
group.
Five.
Yeah, the original group. He passed away, and I wanted to work this in. Is that I was glad I wasn't asked to speak at the funeral because I don't think I could have avoided that story. The fact that that's how we used to bond. We would just be like, all right, we're gonna jack off, and he, you know, just like this, he was the first to go. And I wanted to, maybe in the speech I'd say, and if the laws of masturbation are correct, I'm next. So so that's the masturbation story.
Dude, that's I kind of thought you were going to be like, so then he died, he was cremated, we decided to have one.
We had one more in his honor. We all fucking said, guys, I know we're 34, but what do you say we pop a bottle? We
pop a bottle of Jergens. We'll set up the pillow by the urn, just get it to him last. You know?
One more in his honor.
One more in his honor.
Instead of OE, we take some fucking Vaseline. We just dump it out all over the floor. That's what he would have wanted.
That's fucking hilarious. Now every time any one of you jerks off, you got to put a little lotion, squirt a little lotion on the floor.
It's like the Hellfish, the Simpsons episode with Abe Simpson. It's gonna come down to two people, and the winner gets, I don't know what we get, but
yeah. Fuck, dude. That's growing up in the city, because you grew up in New York, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I had another thing I want to do a bit about, which is how I had a gay experience in the second grade. And it really is a very New York thing to be like fucking 7 and be like, yeah, I've been with a man, not for me, you know? Like I really talked to my mom about it. Like, you know, I mean, it was fucking 6 years before puberty. It wasn't gay even. It was whatever. It was, you know, so I tell my mom and she was like, you're not gay. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I just know you're not gay. I'm your mom. I can tell. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. You already love every woman you meet.
Yes.
Wait, that's also was it? Well, no, I forget Freud, maybe even Freud, but maybe not. Not Freud. Who's the guy that Liam Neeson played in the movie? Kinsey?
Yeah.
I think maybe it was him, but someone had this whole theory that every boy will have a sexual experience with another man, or like another boy. Every boy will have a sexual experience with another boy before puberty.
Yeah. I think it was like one of those things where
because I definitely know when I was like,
I got a weird story for you here.
Well, I know. Okay, what happened?
The gay experience.
Yeah.
So the kid was in. Did I tell you this ever?
No, fuck no.
The kid. I was at college, and years later, I did not see him from he moved. His family moved, so I didn't see him from that time until college. I just saw his face in the class. I was like, holy shit, that's the dude. I'm in a class. The name of the class is called Perversion. We're studying what it is to be a pervert and like ancient writings, like Mishima, Japanese books and stuff. And he is in the class and he's the best fucking student. The teacher's obsessed with him. She's like, this guy will lead this. And I'm like, he's the fucking star.
Did he know you were there in that class?
Yeah, he knew, but I think we just, I don't even know if he rememred or if he chose to just be like, what? I mean, I'm not touching this. So we just got like, oh, hey, man. Yeah,
I'm not touching this. It looks like I've touched that. I've touched that guy. But this we're going to leave out. Wait, that's fucking, see, dude, it's moments like that make people think we're in a matrix. You know what I mean?
Or you're right, like some weird dimension where you're like, oh, that's fucking weird. I wonder how he's doing. I hope he's all right. I mean,
like it's actually whoa. Like I have this whole belief that like the most powerful force in the universe is coincidence because it's so powerful. It's like moments like that make you believe in a higher power. That you're like, somebody's orchestrating this. How am I in a class called Perversion with a guy that fucking made me jerk off in front of him? I don't know that. I don't know what the experience was that you had.
I remember back in the day, like Louis had a bit on Dr. Katz where he would say, you ever see the same stranger again? Like God is running out of extras in the movie of your life. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking brilliant line.
Dude, that's
like a deep line, you know?
Well, I also feel like there's only maybe a dozen or so models of human being. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, I know there's this dude I started comedy with who I don't know if he even does comedy with anymore, but he is 100% physically identical to Mark Maron.
Wow.
like in every single way. The way he
I get
swallowed,
emails sometimes.
you know?
I'm sure you get this too. I'll get like messages of people like, you look exactly like my friend. Every every Jewish girl, you look exactly like my brother. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. That dude. I mean, I have that experience all the time where I meet people where I'm like, you are exactly like my sister. Or my brother, or like, or you know, it's like it's fucking weird. Like, and it's not even like physically like you look alike. You just like you cough the same way. You like, you know, the way you ask questions is the same. It's weird, but like, yeah, dude. Because when I was like 10, I remember my friend named Freddie Cure. That's his name. I don't know if he's still alive, but we compared boners. I remember that.
Yeah,
we were being like,
sure.
Comparing boners. We both had boners.
Let's see how we measure up. Like, I definitely, you know, it's part of growing up, man.
Yeah, we were both fucking. I think he was maybe 11 and I was 11, or we were both the same age, 10 or 11. But I remember it being like, "Huh, boner time," and like, that's fucking natural. But in the city, you can tell your mom about it. I feel like growing up in the South in the suburbs, it was like don't, because like I grew up in the Staten Island of New Orleans. Chalmette, Louisiana, and then Slidell. It's like they're both like you know what I'm saying? You get it.
I mean, I don't know it, but I can visualize. I mean, dude, my mom's an artist. She's pretty cool. She's like very, she's not at all, I mean, if I were gay, she wouldn't have given a shit. I mean, she's that type of person, you know?
Like she was the one who was like, boys, if you're going to do your little jerk circle, I got you a fresh bottle.
I made nachos. Mom, just give us 10. Okay.
Use the bottle that's the non-petroleum jelly based. Okay, if you're just rubbing it into your skin. Those moms scare the shit out of me.
You ever meet one of those moms that's like, this is the best type of KY jelly to stimulate a vagina, and I'm just like, this is just weird that you're someone's mom. That you're just like, you know.
Well, also that are we trying to fuck? Is that what
I know.
Are you trying to wait? Have you ever had that? I had my youngest sister who's 10 years younger than me. Yeah. Her at the time when she was maybe might have been 11, 12 herself. Her best friend's mom made multiple passes at me, and I was like, "Wow, yeah." Wait, no, fuck that. I was younger because I was 19. My sister was like 9, and her mom was maybe like in her early 30s. But she made, and I didn't realize it till my mom came home once when my sister's friend's mom was picking her up, and she was just talking to me, smoking a cigarette, and she was letting me take a couple drags, and my mom busted me but didn't give a shit. But afterwards, my mom was like, "Does she ever make passes at you?" And I was like, "Wait, what? What does that even know?" And then the next like 5 times I was around her, I'm like, "Oh, she's throwing out open invitations."
And did you regret never acting on it?
Yes.
Why didn't you?
Because at the time, like when I was 19, dude, first of all, I didn't even lose my virginity till I was 19. But that was another thing. I had like a girlfriend at the time and was also just terrified still. I don't think I was comfortable with the idea of sex until I was in like,
that's a bold invitation.
Oh yeah, dude.
19 is young for someone in their 30s for sure.
Like I remember they moved to a new house and I had to go drop my sister off over there for like a play date, which it wouldn't be called for years. But I now remember when I went and picked her up, she was like, "Oh, you're early. Let me give you a tour." The mom. And of course, the tour ended.
That's like the opening line to a porno. That's
dude. And the tour ended in her bedroom, and we sat on her bed, and she was like, "Do you want to fucking smoke a doob?" And we like smoked a fucking roach clips and everything, like smoked a joint together. And it was like everything about it was like, "Hey, you've got about 40 minutes. We could do this." And I just didn't. It was that thing where I picked up what she was putting down, but I was also terrified to actually hold on to it. You know,
it's like, weird when the only thing that like keeps you from going through is something you actually want to do is just fear. It is weird. I wish it's prevented me as well. Yeah, I've definitely been with older women. If that was a question,
but how much older?
Much older. I remember.
Oh, much older. Like,
well,
like
I mean, when
decade?
I was more, yeah, I was like 25 or something in Reno, and I was with someone. I just had a horrible breakup, and I met a woman on the flight, and we hit it off. She was really hot. She was in her mid-40s. She had very big fake breasts, beautiful face.
Going to Reno.
Yeah, going to Reno. We chat the whole way, and then she said, "All right, well, it was great to meet you." I said, "Yeah, and we'll see." And we swapped numbers, and I couldn't believe it. I guess she was going through a divorce, and we got lunch, and it just kind of ended up in my room. It was like a day thing. It was very strange.
Dude, that's so fucking funny because you were also like you were definitely like the 25-year-old, like, oh yeah. Like to her, she's just like, this is my fix for the week.
Totally. And that same week, I think I was with someone even older. Actually, I met another person there. It was a tough week. I was like going through a breakup, and I was trying to. You do that young shit where you bounce back, but then you get a little older, and you realize that when you do that, you're putting the ex on a pedestal, and you're like, she was so fucking great. Why did I do that to myself? You know, and you know,
you never focus on the reason.
I'm comparing her to a woman I've met.
Yeah.
For like a few hours. Of course I'm going to think she's great. You know, that's not how you think as a youngin', that's how you get over it, but you got to let the wounds heal, you know?
That's funny that you were going, was one of the movies that your NYU counselor suggested, was it Harold and Maude? You were like,
well, she's a little old. She's a little too old.
I'm going to live that movie. I'm going to live it.
First off, that was love. That wasn't fucking.
Yeah, that was actually
that was just
romance.
Love. No, it was more the Graduate. That's the one. You know.
Yes. Fuck, that's a better one. Yeah.
Although, what's the end of The Graduate? He fucking regrets the shit out of it. So, I mean,
this is true. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, it has to like. What is it? What happened? They're riding.
She's more like the woman in your story, where it's like the mom is just like. You know, bored and like, I don't know. Was she unmarried or was she married or what?
They were definitely divorced. She was definitely she was a single mom. Yeah. I mean, I did. But you remember being in your 20s, which you're not that far removed, but it's also, if you remember, like there was that arrogance of youth where you're like, whatever, I'm like young. I'm like a hot piece of ass, kind of, because I'm young. I don't even know what that means, but like. Because I read, like, when I was...
Well, when you're young, you feel invincible. I mean, you no matter what you do, even if you're built like me, you think you're invincible.
Same here. So, yeah. But when I was 28, I got invited to a weekend at a nudist resort in Palm Springs. And I went being like, this is going to be fucking ridiculous and hilarious. Because I'm going to be like the young guy, and all these fucking old chicks are going to slobber all over me. Why not, bro? And I got there, and it was like... Nope. It was a bunch of other people in their late 20s who were all in great health and very skilled with a razor. And I was the chubber that weekend. And it was just like it changed my opinion, of nudist resorts. Because
that would be like a great, like Waiting for Guffman type movie where it's like, you're just it's like almost like reality show style, but your dicks are all blurred. And you're just like, I was expecting this to be like where I shined and you know,
or just like the most creative like camera angling, where it's just constantly blocking out everything. The whole that would be That's perfect. Go. Damn, dude, we just came up with an idea we're gonna pitch to someone. But like, well, because also the first thing. Have you ever been to a nudist colony?
No.
Or the thing you end up doing within the first hour is going back to your room and masturbating like a madman.
Just because to get it out of your system?
Yeah, just because like you were there were a bunch of hot fucking nude people, but then secondly, like the idea of just being nude and everyone's looking at you and you can't just walk around with a heart on. Like,
does anyone?
No, you can't. It's like that's
someone gets hard and alarm goes off. They're like, tackle him. He's out.
Back to your room, sir. You're fucking back to your room for exactly 20 minutes. There's a bottle already open. Yeah, dude. Where you're at. You got the two specials. You got the one that you released earlier this year, which was I Got This.
Both last year now, yeah.
Both last year. That's right, both last year. Jesus Christ, yeah. Because the first
I Got This came out in February.
Yeah.
YouTube. It's on Comedy Central, CC Stand-Up's YouTube channel. And then I got Up on the Roof, it came out late November, and it's on my channel, and both are free. Check them out.
What is so great about both those specials, because they're both just straight up great. You're a goddamn pound for pound joke.
Thank you, man. And I'm not just sucking you off. I think you're one of the best story guys in the game, man. I think.
Well, thank you. Well,
I think of like you and Jim Jeffries. You know, it's like that's who pops into my head. You know.
Well, thank you.
A bunch of other great ones too that I'm leaving out, but yeah.
Well, thank you. But like the first one's great because it's like you were one of the, if not the first guy that I know personally to just be like, you know what? fuck it, here it is. I don't need the approval of a network.
Well, there's so many. There were so many people before me to do that, but
it's still a brave, scary thing to just do.
Yeah. I mean, I think Schultz did that for like years. I think he was just like, fuck everyone. He did that forever. And I think, Giannis put one on YouTube as well.
Oh, fuck, that's true. But I feel like
there's a couple people before. I don't want to take that. But
right.
I definitely felt rejected. And I had pitched it multiple times. Like I had done the hour twice in LA, back in New York, in LA, and then back in New York. So I went back and forth pitching it.
Right.
And running it, and they sold out shows, and my people, they were great audiences. So I was like, I'm gonna sell this. This is really good, and it just kept getting a no, and I was kind of like, fuck it, I'm done groveling.
Right. Well, I know Schultz had that experience, but to me, Schultz was always putting out like 10 to 20 minute sets. He was putting out like chunks, and that very 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 fucking progressive minded of him to do that. And
for sure,
I didn't realize Giannis's had come out before yours. Giannis's special is also great.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Giannis is a beast. Giannis is fucking great. Yours, it felt like, was the one too, though. Like that was the first one where you put it out, and I was like, oh man, that's kind of the way now, I think.
Enough people get rejected, which is like there's so many good comics, and there's only that many spots, and I hate to say it, but like comics know who should be getting specials, and gatekeepers, I think a lot of times have another idea of who should be getting specials, and it's not going to be the same people. Like comics look for what they look for, and they look for what they look for. It's not the same criteria. So I just realized I wasn't what they were looking for, and I didn't think, like, I guess I was delusional or something. I didn't think I'd be in that position where I was going to have to. I thought I had a good hour ready, and then I had another good one ready. So I didn't think it was going to happen, but because it's weird to visualize going backward, but in some ways it's not backward. I think I thought of it as backward, but I was like, no, this is forward, because I'm going to make far less money short term, but way more people are going to see it. I'm going to make way more on the road. Way more
money long term, yeah.
So it's a little humbling, but also it's kind of exciting,
But that's what I fucking love about that sort of shit. And also, this is why your second special is so great, because I was having a weird goddamn time, like everyone was, late pandemic, but also like sort of trying to figure out like what's the next step. And what you did with this special, where you were just like, fuck it, I'm making my own shows, and I'm just gonna make a special out of what I got, was inspiring to me, because it was like, god damn it, that's the name of the game now. Because I came up under this tutelage of comedy where it was like, craft this perfect thing and then sell it to a network or get them to approve it or get them to shoot it. And now it's like, nah, fuck it. We don't need that anymore. Just do what you can do with what you've got and just get it out there.
It's all a trailer for the road, is what I think. Burr would say that. He's like, every special is like a trailer for the road.
Yeah, it's all to get people, sell tickets.
So, this one was like, I wrestled with the idea of doing it, and then the roof shows felt so electric and cool that I was just kind of like, well, this is like self-made, and like
it looked cool as shit.
Not just a special, but just like the shows. Like we're creating shows out of nowhere on roofs. So the theme seemed cool. It looked cool. My director, Matt Salacuse, is like a New York guy too, and he was obsessed with the look, and he was like, it's going to be like kind of like punk Manhattan, the opening of Manhattan, but more like grungy, because that's what the city is right now, and I love that. I love that. So that was his vision. He's awesome. And then, it was, I just kind of wanted something from the pandemic that didn't make me sad. So even like, I am bummed when I look at some of the bits, and I'm like, fuck, that would have killed in the club, that joke. And you just hear, from like, and you're like, oh, that rips my fucking heart out. But, it's like, I'll write new shit. It's like,
exactly.
It's like sometimes we get so precious with our material, and sometimes like not every joke is gonna get what it deserves in a special.
Well, I used to hardcore be one of those guys who was like, once you record something, that's it, you can't do it anymore. But that was a different reality. Like it's also not true. I feel like now, like you can.
I forget shit though. I really do forget it. Like people will yell out like White Knight story or alligator bit, and I'm like, I don't remember them anymore. I don't know. Yeah. They'll yell out bits. I'm like, it's like a 7-minute bit. I'm not like a story guy like you are, so I'll forget bits.
Oh, trust me, dude. I'll definitely. People like to yell like people. I constantly get like cumin, coming. Like I've had people bring me jars of cumin at shows and shit, which is flattering. But I'm also like, you want me to tell? It's a fucking 22-minute story. I'm not just gonna fucking whip it out right now.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's one of those things where like you just got to move forward, or and it's like I hear about guys who's like Seinfeld who they don't even like put out specials, but they'll write all day, every day, and you're like, well, you can just tell his mind is sharp and intact because he writes all the time. So if you're just constantly forced to put out new shit, you're gonna just be better. I think you're gonna be, even if the material's not there yet, it'll this next one. I'm gonna have to it's gonna take a while to work, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it because I don't want to do another outdoor special. But I'd like to have something by the end of the year, but that might be wishful thinking.
I mean, dude, I don't know. You're always a guy. I feel like you truly do like you print jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like I
feel that way with you about you, but with stories. You know.
Well, thank you. But I feel like, thanks. But I think you're a guy who you're not someone I'm worried about ever getting stagnant. Like, it's just not in your nature. Like,
it's it's very hard though. Cause you ever just do a show though in the pandemic and you're just like, you're doing like an outdoor show or something and you riff a line and you're like, man, I forgot how much of this I do on stage.
Oh yeah, man.
And that's what's painful. It's like, it's hard to just write the hour, pen the stage perfectly. And we're at a point, I think now, where we like kind of know our voices a little bit on stage, but it's still you get hard. So much when your mind is forced to riff a line up there or something doesn't work. And it's like that, losing that is making this hard. I'm jealous of the comics who are still touring.
Oh yeah, man. Well, also just the moments where you've done something so many times that it's almost like your body can take it and deliver it like it's supposed to be delivered, but your mind can separate from it and sort of be like,
yes,
this is a better moment, and blast it in there. And you're like, oh fuck, that's only because of the stage time. Because you get so
100%, 100% true. Because you're totally right. Because it's almost like two sides of your brain. One's like an autopilot doing, the other one's like, what can we do to fix this? I love that. I miss it so much, man.
Like basically, one part of your brain's like the offensive coordinator, like in the booth, just like watching, you know what I mean? It's like calling up different plays, and it's like, fuck, now you're playing with the way we're doing now. It's just, you just got the one coach.
I love that. That's so true,
but
man.
We got to, anyway, but either way, what's your site? SamMorril.com?
Yeah, it's just my name. Yeah.
It's one R, two L's, ladies and gentlemen. And
it's 2 R's, 1 L.
Yep, fuck that up completely. Ladies, gentlemen, and anyone else identifying any way you please.
They'll Google it and they'll figure it out.
But no, Sam, you're one of the best.
You
people.
Too, man. Thank you, man.
Watch Sam. Check out the specials. They're both on YouTube. They're both fucking awesome. And hey, man, till when we can all do it again.
I can't wait. I miss it. I miss the comic hang more than anything.
Exactly, bud. All right. Hey, later, my friend.
Later.